Earlier this week, I sat down with Ore, who is now a full-time developer at Microsoft, and he has gone through the internship program that we are offering with Reskill Americans, and we talked about some of his experience as an intern and why he thinks it was so important to his career. I'm curious about, how did you first learn to program? What was your first introduction to that, and how did you get started?
What drew me to programming, or why I actually started was, I was just curious about how the computer worked. And since then, an affinity towards like hacking things. And eventually, I think this was back in 2011. I, I ended up doing a Java type
Mm-hmm.
bootcamp. So it was like a 12-week type thing, just learning about Java, going through like a basics of like what writing code is all about. And that was actually like my first real introduction to, okay, this is how you write code, and this is how you actually build software.
Yeah.
uh, and then over time, obviously, I dabbled across like other programming languages, trying to make websites with
Mm-hmm.
HTML, JavaScript, PHP, also figuring out how to store data on the servers and how to process them. And so during, like, I think it's a mix for me. There's like obviously the bootcamp type thing, and then just searching up and down and just
Yeah.
curious and reading stuff on the internet, and working on projects that required me to actually like write code.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's pretty much where I picked up my experience. It's like a mix of a little introduction here, little self-learning here, and then actual
Mm-hmm.
standardized knowledge. So
Yeah, I think a lot of people have this idea of a software developer as this like very kind of antisocial, lonely occupation. You're just sitting alone in front of a computer and not ever talking to anybody. But all the jobs I've ever had, that would be pretty rare, like the exception. There's a lot of interaction with other people, don't you think?
yeah, yeah, that the interaction with other people is really how sell your idea or get like the team to buy in on whatever you're trying to build. Like if you're working alone on your computer, like in your house alone, yeah, sure, you can do that. But when you get into a point where you're shipping something to people,
Mhm.
that bit of being able to collaborate and share the thought pattern that you have and even convince people,
Mhm.
because you realize that you're going to be working with other smart people too, right? So you're going to have people that challenge your ideas. And so you're supposed to be able to take that in, right? Take the critique that's coming up, and figure out if one is actually valid. And at the second time, also how you can incorporate it. So that internship program just gave me that first window into, what to expect,
Mhm.
going into like the industry and going into jobs and working. Um, yeah, I mean, this is the people for me, and the collaborating
Yeah.
was the best
Yeah.
part. Yeah. I'm more of the mindset that, you know, hands-on learning by
Mhm.
doing is really one of the best ways to learn.
Yep.
It's great that that's what your Reskill Americans is doing, because I think that that already puts the people going through this process like a step ahead,
Yeah.
right? Because people spend months just reading things and saying, "Oh, well, I'm just reading this, or I'm just watching this videos," and it's
Mhm.
like, "Have you built anything though?" And they're like, "Not yet, because I feel like I need to learn this." You would always feel like you need to learn
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Did have like a very fun time working with them, right?
Mhm.
They're really good people, and they were really willing to like explain new ideas. And like I'm the type of person, like, if for anyone who's ever worked with me closely, like I ask a lot of questions, right?
Okay. Yeah. Good.
And so like it was great having different people that I could ask questions, right? And that's what you get when you go through that internship experience, right? It may feel like you're bothering people, but
Mm.
believe they've been there before. So they know what you're going through, right? Like imagine an intern now asking me questions. Like I know that I've been an intern before, right? I know that
Yeah.
I've been at a place where I didn't know what was going on,
Yeah.
right? And so I would 9 out of 10 times answer the person, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
sometimes I even expect them to come back again,
Yeah,
right?
nobody wants the intern to be like just struggling in the corner, beating their head over a problem
Yeah,
that they have
exactly.
no way of figuring it out on their own just based on their current knowledge. Like they want you to like say, "Hey, I need a little bit of help," and often it's just like, oh, do this. And it's like, oh, that? Okay. Yeah. So is there anything else you'd like to add about your experience?
You know, I would just say, like, you know, to whoever is getting started with this, first of all, like I said, congratulations, man. It's a big step, right?
Taking the step, yeah.
To move your career forward and change the way you the things that you're doing and work in impactful things. And yeah, I would just say, like, trust yourself, bet on yourself, be ready to learn and embody that growth mindset. It really does go a long way. It really does. Like, it changes, it changes so much, because what happens is then you look back, like, for example, you go through the internship of 7 months and go through all of that. And then you look back and it's like, whoa, like, I started this like over, and then I didn't even know what was going on. And now look at what I'm doing right now.
Right.
It does add up. And so, yeah, I would say go for it. And sky's your limit, you know?
The internship at Reskill Americans comes at the end of a 7 month program. We have 4 months of classroom and project based learning to get you ready, and then a 3 month internship at the end. So, hope you sign up. The deadline is March 7th, 2021.